So we all know how important shadow work is, right? Everyone tells you that shadow work is the root of being able to manifest, being able to live a good life, not living out of your wounds, correct? But no one really tells you how to do it exactly. So this is going to be my actual in-depth step-by-step tutorial on how to actually do shadow work and not just answer questions like when you Google shadow work prompts or whatever. This is how to actually heal if you allow yourself to. So this is a method that I personally have developed on myself when I went through the worst breakup of my entire life, and it's actually what literally was the only thing that got me to survive and not let this breakup control the rest of my life and the rest of my views on love. And what helped me, this is also a method that I have lent to friends and it has worked on them and many other things. So let's get into it. First off, what we're really gonna do, and let me just explain the method and then I'm gonna give you the step-by-step. So the first thing you're going to want to do is basically you need to understand the root cause of whatever it is that's affecting you. And the number one step just to kind of start this is just identifying your triggers, right? Because your triggers are actually the biggest gift to you. It's really irritating to me when people are like, oh my God, I hate getting triggered. I never want to get triggered. Triggers are a gift. They're fucking amazing. When you have someone in your life who triggers you on accident, that, you need to be grateful for that, okay? Because triggers tell you where you still need to heal. So how do we identify a trigger? How do we identify it from I'm triggered here versus this is actually something that I should be upset about, right? Really what I identify triggers as is it's an event or something happened, whether it be an actual event, a way that someone treated you, something someone said, and that event can either be neutral, positive, or negative. But usually, if it is very negative, it's an event that reminds you of a past event that has happened before. And then this is usually what triggers are. Usually, triggers are a neutral event that happens, that anyone else in that situation that didn't have your wounds wouldn't have felt hurt by. But you were hurt because there is a core wound that was tugged on. And so really, you got to look at it like, okay, if this situation happened and I never experienced the previous situation that it was triggering me from, would I really be upset? For example, let's give an example, right? So I used to have an ex-friend who had CPTSD because her father was very, very abusive for her entire life. I'm not trying to spill too much details, right? But totally anonymous. But anyways, there wasn't a time where what happened was her grandma basically just went out and she went out with her younger sister and they went to a doctor's appointment. Afterwards they grabbed food, fast food, and when they came back, they realized that they forgot to get anything for her. She freaked out, and I don't mean she was just a little upset, a little disappointed, a little bit oh, guys, really? I really wanted some. She was throwing stuff, screaming in people's faces, threatening people, just full-on tantrum. That is because it had nothing to do with the fast food. She did not actually want the fast food, right? Because anyone else in that situation who were not triggered by that would have went, oh, I'm really disappointed, but we can share. Or oh, really, why didn't you think of me? That kind of sucks, but it's okay. She truly felt like that reflected on how people saw her, and she got triggered because she felt like no one ever considers her. It tugged on that core wound of saying, no one ever considers me, no one ever loves me, no one actually likes me, and so you doing this tiny little thing that's technically a neutral event, even though it can be considered hurtful, of course, and I'm not saying you don't have a right to be hurt about it, you doing this technically neutral or slightly negative event made me feel emotions that were so much bigger than what actually occurred. So how do you know you're experiencing something, you're not being triggered? So if someone truly does something to you, cheat on you, betray you, ghost you, defriend you, whatever, and you do get your feelings hurt about that, generally, because it's such a negative event, I wouldn't really call that a trigger. That could just, that actually could be something that ends up creating a wound later on. But generally, if you don't feel like this has happened to you before, it doesn't feel familiar, your head doesn't spiral and immediately start thinking to yourself, oh my God, this totally makes sense why this happened because no one ever likes me. That's pay attention to your thoughts when something bad happens, because that is another thing that will actually lead you to your core wound belief. When someone does do something like that to you, is your first thought, oh my God, that's so messed up, I'm so hurt? Or is your first thought, oh, well, no one fucking loves me, everyone hates me, this is adding more proof, basically. I'm gonna put this in my collection of proof as to what I believe about myself. And if you feel like it's reaffirming a core belief you already have, then you're being triggered, basically. So this is how to get to the root cause of that trigger. let's think of one of, so this is what we're going to do right now. Okay. So I need you, when you do this practice in a serious manner, you need to either be alone or with a very safe person that you can cry around. Because if you do not cry when you do this, it doesn't work. This is to release emotions that are being stored in your body still, that are still being stored within your blueprint of a human being. These emotions are still here. They never got truly worked on and felt. Okay, you experienced something traumatic, you never fully worked through it and felt it. You always just pushed it down. This is going to bring it back up to the surface, and you need to release it. You need to be willing to cry during this exercise. You need to be vulnerable. One time, I think the only time I ever tried to do this on someone and it was not effective was because they were not comfortable being vulnerable and they didn't want to cry about it. It didn't work. That's just how it works, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to get a safe, comfortable space. You're going to make the environment beautiful. What I usually like to do is I sit in my bed, I dim the lights, I light a candle. I like to play a really sad song, something that makes me really reflect on myself, or I like to have my boyfriend present just so that I can talk to him while I'm working through this. And you're going to ask yourself these series of questions. Question number 1, what triggers me? Identify something where you felt like a negative core belief was being reaffirmed. So whether it be like, let's make an example, like we'll do the fast food one. I was really, really upset that my grandma didn't get me fast food. Okay. Question number 2, how does that make you feel? Identify this in a few words, and you don't have to necessarily go into super depth. That made me feel unappreciated. That made me feel angry. That made me feel rageful. That made me feel sad. It made me feel forgotten, right? So let's list that out. And then question number 2, what is the root cause? So obviously we don't know the root cause yet. So it's not like necessarily like a question you have to be like, oh, it's because my dad beat me, whatever. What you really want to think of is you need to think of the last time before this event. Okay, sorry guys, I had to change positions of my phone because I have like a stick-on thing and it kept falling. But anyways, so then you're going to ask yourself this one question. This is the most important question. Define how that trigger made you feel. Pick out one sentence that is a core belief that trigger was reaffirming. My grandma, so this is step 1, my grandma didn't get me fast food. Step 2, that made me feel really unappreciated. Step 3, I believe that no one cares about me because of this. This is what I believe because of that. You need to try and remember or be conscious about, what did that event reaffirm? What was the immediate belief that you started thinking to yourself? Was it, oh my God, of course she did this. This is why no one likes me. Okay, no one likes me. Think of the last time that something occurred that triggered this exact same wound, that you felt or thought to yourself, no one ever loves me, no one likes me. Think of the last time that it happened. And then think of the time before that when it happened. And then the time before that, just as far back as you could possibly go. It would be helpful if you could even honestly write down every single time that you have felt unloved or whatever the core wound is. Like I did this on one of my friends too, where she felt rejected by a boy, and we went back, and the first time she ever felt that way was when she was rejected by her parent. And so you need to go all the way back. When was the last time what was the first time that you can remember where you truly felt like this was reality? Like, it's true, people don't like me. So you're gonna go back, obviously, what was the first time you felt this? When was the last time you felt this? You want to write down at least the very farthest memory you can possibly remember, and then the most recent time. And then what do those things have in common, if anything? And so usually what happens is when you experience some sort of trauma or trigger, when it comes to this root cause, what was truly going on was that there was a need that was not being met. So if we look at the hierarchy of needs by Maslow, it's a psychology thing. A lot of people criticize it, but let's just completely believe it for this sake. So I will insert a picture here so you can understand. But basically, the hierarchy of needs, what it says is that there is a certain need basis of a human being that every human being needs to function properly. And there is love, attention, social interaction, obviously food, water. So all of those needs, you need to look at those needs and think to yourself, what wasn't being met when this wound was made? Was it your need to be loved wasn't being met? Was it your need for attention wasn't being met? Was it your need for basic food and water, like you were being neglected as a child, that wasn't being met? Was it, I mean, that also goes into like money. Like maybe your parents didn't have money growing up, and so you develop this psychological wound where you felt like your needs were not met. When a human being who's trying to survive, when one of your needs doesn't get met, you will literally develop psychological defense mechanisms so that you can survive. That's all this is. Your brain's just trying to keep you alive, okay? So look at the needs, think to yourself, what need wasn't being met? So let's say from this example we've been doing, my grandma didn't get me fast food. That made me feel angry and sad. I feel now like no one appreciates me, no one loves me. The last time, or the first time that I ever felt that was when my dad, like let's say my dad chose my sister over me. The need that wasn't being met was love. I just didn't feel loved. I did not feel loved. You need to admit that, okay? Next, we're going to see, after we identify what need was not being met, what belief did you take from that experience? As a child, you were trying to make sense of the world. Something bad happened to you, whether it was something as small as someone choosing your sibling over you. Like that kind of shit does psychologically can affect you just because as a child, you will observe that and you'll try your best to make sense with the world. And so the conclusion you will naturally draw from that is, oh, it's because I'm just not likable. Obviously, right? You're not going to think to yourself, maybe my parent isn't capable of giving attention to two people at once, or maybe my parent isn't capable of loving me the way that it needs to be loved, because as a child, your parent is God. Your parent is always right. Whatever they do, you will believe as the hardcore fucking truth. And so if your parent tells you or teaches you or makes you feel in some way that you are incapable, you are unworthy, you are unlovable, you will take that in as a hardcore truth and it will affect you for the rest of your fucking life. You will never be able to succeed or do the things you were truly meant to do on this life because your human body took that in as a truth and now needs to build defense mechanisms to survive, okay? So once we identify what need wasn't being met, it was, I wasn't getting loved. We can now identify what the core wound belief was, which is that I am not loved, or that I am not appreciated, or that, my parents don't love me. You need to identify like a I am phrase of the core belief that is the underlying cause of this, okay? So it's I am not appreciated. So you're going to identify that. And then you're going to make some sort of, let's say like it was, oh, I'm not safe. You're going to take that phrase and you're going to make the opposite and you're going to create an affirmation. And I'm not talking the spiritual woo-woo kind of affirmations. Just hear me out from where I'm going with this. You're going to take an opposite phrase. So you're going to go from I was not safe, I am not safe, to I am safe. I was not protected, I am protected. I was not loved, I am loved. I am appreciated, I am worthy, I am smart, I am beautiful, I am loved, I am safe, I am protected, I have my needs met, right? You're going to take that phrase, and this is what you're going to do. Inside of you, there's an actual human being, and then there is a soul, okay? Your soul is possessing the body of who you are currently. But your soul is witnessing the experiences that your body is going through. So your body it's separate identity than your soul, but right now they are one. And as a child, this body that you reincarnated into experienced this, and they did not get taken care of. Their needs were not met. They were not protected. Okay, so you need to stop looking at yourself as like yourself. You need to start looking at yourself the way that you would look at a child if you were outside of your body. You need to start looking at yourself like you are your own child, because you are. You reincarnated into this body to help and protect it and guide it through life. Like this is your vessel that you need to be taken care of. So this is the key step. This is where all of the healing comes through. You're going to take that affirmation and you're going to give it to yourself. You're going to take that need that you never got and you're going to give it to yourself. You're going to understand that you were not protected like you should have been. You were not loved like you should have been. You were not safe like you should have been. And you were going to give that to yourself because you deserve it. It is the bare fucking minimum that you should get in life. You should always feel protected and safe and loved and appreciated and chosen and cared for and beautiful. So you are going to sit and you're going to hold yourself literally, physically, whatever way you want to do. You can hold a plushie, but you need to give this to your being that you are in this lifetime, okay? Because your being needs healing bad, and your soul can give that to your body. And your soul is going to tell this human, this identity, you're going to give this to yourself, and you're going to say, I am safe, I am protected, I am cared for, and I will take care of you. you are going to give it to yourself. No one needed to ever give it to you. It was never necessary. You've been looking for this need. You've been looking for this healing to this wound outside of yourself your whole fucking life, in relationships and career and money. You have been looking for someone to give you this healing, but you can give it to yourself. You never needed to get in that relationship to feel safe. You never needed to get into that house or get into that, get all of this money, get this career, get this beauty to feel like you are chosen, loved, safe, and appreciated. You never needed that. You could actually just give it to yourself. I know, crazy. You wouldn't have even thought that it was an option. You're going to give that to yourself. You're just going to tell yourself, I love you. If no one else loves you, I love you. If no one else can take care of you, I can take care of you. And it doesn't matter if you never have before. It doesn't matter if you have attempted, if you've cut, if you have starved yourself and consistently been mean to your body and punished yourself, even though your body is completely innocent. You're going to forget that. This is a whole new fucking start. This is a whole new relationship. You're going to start over with yourself. And you are going to forgive yourself for being also abusive to yourself, to this poor fucking human being that just happened to be reincarnated at this time, right? You're going to forgive that. You're going to move on and just don't think about it. Don't be like, well, I can't love myself because I'm always mean to me. I never eat, whatever. Just tell yourself, like, I will give this to you now. This is a new start. I love you. And if no one ever has before, I love you. If no one has ever accepted you before, I love you. And you need to feel it. Don't just say it like a robot. Don't be like, I love you, okay? You need to feel it. You need to feel the acceptance and the love and the forgiveness that you ever let anyone treat you like that, the forgiveness that you ever let yourself be treated like that you ever treated yourself like that. You need to forgive yourself, and you need to give yourself what you've been looking for. You are loved. You are forgiven. You are safe. You are chosen. You are beautiful. You need to give it to yourself. You need to sit down in your room and cry it the fuck out. You need to sit there and release all of the things that people have thrown in you, done to you, made you believe that isn't fucking true. And you just need to let it go. Just let it out. Let it, just cry about it. That's going to be the best release for you, so that you can fully grieve this wound that was embedded in you involuntarily that you never wanted to. And then you're just going to write a list of affirmations that you can tell yourself. And it's not going to be the kind of affirmations that you sit in a mirror and you go, I am beautiful, I am sexy, I am rich. You're going to just straight up write out affirmations of the needs we were just talking about. And you're just going to repeat that to yourself consistently. And anytime you get triggered, you're going to bring up that list. I am safe, I am loved, I am cared for, I am chosen. You're going to repeat that to yourself. And you're not going to say it to yourself as if you are saying it to yourself. You're going to say it to yourself as if your adult soul self is saying it to your child inner self, or your soul higher self is saying it to your human self. You're going to separate two entities. You're going to create two identities. Because so my name is Sky, right? There is Sky, the human being, and then there is my soul, who was incarnated into this. You're going to separate those two identities. Your soul is going to protect your body. You're going to create that relationship, okay? And then, of course, there will be pushback, because this kind of relationship it's very new, okay? It's very stigmatized to be built, to look at yourself like you're a different human being. We all look at ourselves like we don't count, right? We all look at ourselves like, well, everyone else is lovable, but not me, I don't count. So this relationship is going to be extremely hard to get used to. It's going to feel very off. It's going to be weird. There's going to be resistance. That resistance, the voice in your head when you say to yourself, I am loved, and then your voice goes, hey, but remember that one time that your ex said that you were never going to be loved? Hey, remember that though? What about that? You were going to acknowledge that voice. That voice is literally just bringing up a point, but you're going to understand that voice is not actually you, okay? It's not your body. It's not your soul. It is actually just a replayed, stuck memory that's just a bit on loop from someone in the past that once put it in your head. You didn't develop it on your own. It's not natural whatsoever. So you need to talk to your inner doubts like they're a human being. What would you say if you need to look at yourself and treat yourself like you're your own child, right? Not your best friend. When your best friend goes out and drinks and gets back with your ex, you turn your blind eye and you go, okay, girl, you do you. You're not going to do that to yourself. When you do something bad for you, you're going to treat it like you're a child, You're gonna be like, no, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna go back to your ex and eat bad food. What are you doing? We have raised you better than that, okay? You need to be a mother. You need to reparent yourself. You're gonna have to force yourself to make decisions for you that you know are not going to be fun and awesome, like maybe a best friend would allow, but that is best for you because no one did that to you. You need to give it back to you, okay? So when your doubts come up, imagine this scenario. There is a child, a literal child, and you don't always have to be happy with this child, okay? You don't have to always be like, oh my God, I love you so much and you're the best person ever to protect this child. You're never always going to 100% love and like yourself. You're always gonna not necessarily be happy with something or something you did, okay? That's normal and that's natural. You have to understand that it's never gonna be perfect. There's gonna be a child. This child will mess up. You'll be disappointed. This child will say a mean thing. You'll be mad. This child will do things that you're not always happy about, but no matter what, at the end of the day, you're gonna tuck that child in at night and you're gonna say, I love you no matter what. I don't care that you fucking spilt milk everywhere on the fucking kitchen floor and I had to clean it up today. I love you still because you're a kid. And then when someone walks in the door and goes, you love that kid, but that kid fucking sucks because they did this and they did this and they did this and they did this. You're not going to let anyone talk to you like that. Nope. Maybe you'll let someone talk to you like that. You're not going to ever let anyone talk to your child like that. You're just not. That child is you and you are also the adult and you're going to beat that person's ass. That's what you're going to react to when those inner doubts come up. So when you're looking in the mirror and your instinct is to go, oh my God, I look so ugly right now. Don't go. This is not what you should do. You should just go, oh my God, wait, I'm pretty. Like, what? If someone walks in the door and goes, your child is ugly, you're not going to go, no, he's pretty. What? No, like that's not what affirmations are. You're going to go, whoa, what the fuck? Why would you say that? This is the person that I love and that I've been taking care of. And it doesn't matter what the fuck they look like. I still like them. Don't say that shit about them. I don't give a fuck if it's true or if it's not. You can't say that to them. Period. The end. No end of fucking discussion. That is what a lot of people get wrong when it comes to affirmations. They think it's this robotic fucking thing when it's like, you need to treat yourself like your own child. So anyways, that's how you react to negative core beliefs coming up again and trying to reinforce their way into your life. You're going to just treat them like they're the fucking enemy who's barging into your house and hurting your kid because you're just not going to let it happen. You're not going to act like, oh wait, I'm pretty. It's not happening. Okay, so anyways. Sorry for the long app session. I had a lot to say. The point is I hope that you can take something away from this video where you can actually apply it to your life and learn it because I hate vague advice, like personally, just for me. So I will leave the bullet points of every single prompt in either in the description or the comments. So you could go there and you could answer them yourself. I would suggest writing it out. I usually like to just do my notes. Like I have an entire notes app of all my shadow work. And then I personally have the prompts at the top right here. And so that's what I personally do. And then I will usually do it by myself and I'll sit and I'll cry. And afterwards, I'm not even kidding you. Like it takes a while. You're not going to have immediate results. But like the things that I used to do this method on when I was like 18, I don't even think about it anymore. Like the beliefs that I have worked on in this notes app don't even exist to me anymore. And it's weird because you don't notice it not existing until one day you just realize I'm actually not upset about that anymore. So I really hope that you can try your best to integrate this and use this to your best skills, like your best. Anyways, love yourself because I love you. See you next time.